Have you ever stopped to think about what would be the perfect way to resolve one of the biggest problems at the end of Game of Thrones, which is the death of Daenerys Targaryen? Did you know that there are perfect ways to bring her back to life? Ways that make total sense for the story, and in this video I will explain them based on the final episode of the show, and if you wanna know, stay here and let's go. Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about the Game of Thrones universe, because I have to explain something that bothers most of the fans for years, since 2019, the year that Game of Thrones ended. How we can bring Daenerys Targaryen back to life, one of the fans' favorite characters. There's a way based on what Drogon, her dragon, did in the last episode of Game of Thrones, and in this video I will explain, but first don't forget to check the like in this video, it helps me a lot, and also don't forget to subscribe here if you want more content about Game of Thrones universe. Thank you for your patience with my English. That's not my native language, but I'm trying to practice more and more, and there we go. It's not a secret that the end of Game of Thrones is problematic in many ways. In the script, in the decisions about Daenerys, what Daenerys did to King's Landing, and the decision to kill her. There's some people who agreed with the decision to kill Daenerys, but there's more people that would love to see her back, would love to see HBO fixing it. Basically, in the last episode of Game of Thrones, episode 6 of season 8, we see Jon Snow killing her in front of her dragon. The dragon didn't kill Jon Snow, and he decides to do something different. He burns the throne, the Iron Throne, and also take Daenerys' body and flies away. That's how Daenerys and Drogon's story ends in the main show. There's many theories about where the dragon goes at this point, but there's something that is more clear. In the same episode, this episode 6, after that, we see Bronn, the new king, asking about Drogon, where it is. And it's mentioned that the dragon was seen at the east of King's Landing, so it means that it probably went to Essos with Daenerys' body. We can see in the map, King's Landing is here, and the east of King's Landing is Essos. And what we have in Essos, many nations, many cities, islands, and more, but also we have the island that everything started, about the dragons and the Targaryens. It's really more than just one island, but I'm talking about the old Valyria. Since the end of Game of Thrones, there's many theories saying that Drogon went to old Valyria, the ruins of old Valyria, with Daenerys' body. And it makes sense, since he's probably the last dragon. He's going to where everything started to do something. And there, in old Valyria, it's where everything can happen, the resurrection of Daenerys. If you don't know, Valyria, it's a place full of magic, full of ancient stories, mysteries. Many prophecies came from there. There's more prophecies in this story that we don't know so far, and some types of magic worked much better there. And based on that, with this recap about the end of Game of Thrones, explaining about Drogon, Valyria, and more, where we can go now. Let's talk about Drogon. Drogon's role in the resurrection, what the dragon can do. We have to remember that Daenerys is the only Targaryen in this story that had 3 dragons. The very important event, the unique event in this story, Mother of Dragons, the prophecy. She had Rhaegal, Viserion, and Drogon. 2 of them died, one of them to the White Walkers, and the other one at Blackwater battle. But we have to mention that Daenerys has some different connection with her dragons in this story, even different than some House of the Dragon dragons, some other ancestry Targaryen. Like the explanation about why she don't burn, why she had 3 dragons, it's all about this unique event. It's all about some miracle. Daenerys and her dragons are so different in this story. So going back to Drogon, this dragon is like her son, and we can imagine a perfect way that this dragon can resurrect Daenerys using the fire. After all, fire and blood are the Targaryen words. Also the stories, fire and blood, ice and fire, and all the stories have fire. And also talking about the main show, in the main show we have some explanation that can help us at this, using fire to resurrect someone. During the seasons, Jon Snow dies, and then he was resurrected, a polemic resurrection, but he was resurrected using fire magic, the Lord of the Light magic. Melisandre was the one responsible to do it. She served the Lord of Light. And you can say, no, Daenerys wasn't some follower of Lord of Light. But you have to remember the concept of fire as source of life is central in the series' mythology. And the show revealed to us that even a person that does not serve Lord of Light, this person can be resurrected by the Lord of Light. And also, that's where everything connects. In the beginning of the video, I said about Old Valyria, the location that the dragons were born. Drogon probably went there after the end of Game of Thrones. And look, Old Valyria is the place where fire magic was strongest. So now you can understand, at Old Valyria, Drogon's fire could be more powerful to resurrect Daenerys. Drogon could play a role similar to Melisandre's, using his own fire to resurrect Daenerys. But in an even more magical place, everything makes sense. Just connect the fact that Drogon was born next to Daenerys in the middle of the fire, add this magical connection to Old Valyria, where magic worked even better, and ask the dragon to use his fire. Since the show has already revealed that fire magic can resurrect someone, and even more so in Old Valyria, where Lord of Light's magic was stronger. That's the perfect match, and the only thing missing is for producers and the actors to want to do it. And there's more, you can add something more. You can add 2 characters in this story to help Daenerys to be resurrected. You can add Jon Snow and Bronn. Bronn could use his powers as Three-Eyed Raven to help this ritual even Old Valyria or some other place. His reasons could be justified about the curiosity he has about Drogon, and also Jon Snow, burdened by the guilty of killing Daenerys. He can be moved to find out how to do it, how to do this ritual using Drogon and using the help of Bronn. No, I don't want to use these characters, I just prefer using Drogon. Okay, you can use only Drogon, but what's next? What's next about Daenerys? Daenerys is now alive, she's back, and what she will do? She will burn everyone, she will kill Jon Snow for treason, she will kill Bronn and his family. I don't think so. I think a good script can bring her back. Her resurrection could give her a deeper understanding of her failure and a desire to start again, perhaps becoming a different kind of leader. Or maybe her return would signal a beginning of a new era of dragons and magic, because everything could change. Or if you prefer her returning as a bad person, no problem, that's your choose. Go put in the comments what do you think. What do you think about this theory? The point is that you can't deny that this resurrection this way would make a perfect sense. I would love to hear from the production that they are going back to the end of Game of Thrones and do it again, but unfortunately HBO doesn't like to have any more interest to tell some stories after Game of Thrones. They prefer to tell some stories from the past, like the Conquest, Aegon the Conqueror, House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I like it, but I would love to see more of Game of Thrones. Go put in the comments what you think. Don't forget to check the like, it helps me a lot in this video. And also, if you want more content about Game of Thrones universe, don't forget to subscribe in this channel, and I'll be back soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.